A recent study said that marriage may be linked to memory loss in men, with local man Peter Brown noting that after 12 years of marriage, he's had a very difficult time remembering being happy.
Brown stared somberly out the window before continuing, I know in theory it's happened, before being interrupted by his wife Susan, who ran into the room screaming, who are you talking to? You know we have lunch plans with my sister today, or did you forget that too? To which Peter responded, Susan, I'm talking to the f***ing news. Can you give me 2 seconds for the love of God?
Peter then stood up flustered to say, God damn it, I forgot what I was going to say. And for the record, I'm ready, so guarantee I'll be waiting on you. To which Susan cut back in to say, if you want to talk about memory, why don't you tell your little friends how you forgot to take off your shoes and track mud everywhere? Wait, are you drinking a beer? What the f***, Peter?
To which Peter responded, I can have one beer and not lose my mind, unlike you, Susan. To which Susan responded, you know what? Let's just cancel. To which Peter responded, fine, I'll throw the beer away. To which Susan responded, no, you ruined it. We're not going. To which Peter responded, stop being dramatic. Just finish getting ready and I'll kick the news crew out. To which Susan responded, I'm being dramatic? You ruined our lunch we had planned for weeks. I hope you and your little news crew have a nice life together. To which Peter whispered, we should probably finish this in the garage.
The boys.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The lads.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST.
The bros.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The homies.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Experience the BOYSCAST.
The BOYSCAST.
Daniel Polishuk has flown in all night to get here.
And I'm here, and it was a nightmare. Man, the seats on JetBlue, so uncomfortable.
You were happy with the seats.
Dude, they
didn't have the triple XL seatbelt extenders.
No, they did not have the triple XL seatbelt extenders. And I had E. coli.
Yeah, Tim Hortons, you said?
Tim Hortons, fucking bagel from the Tim Hortons Vancouver airport.
That's how you know that country's gone to fucking complete.
You can't even get a fucking bagel anymore without getting E. coli.
If people don't know, Tim Hortons was a staple, and then they took all the places, and then a big chain bought them, and then they started making all the stuff in a factory, shipping it in. The quality went to shit. No one's happy
Start
with
selling
it.
pizza.
They started selling
and, like,
ridiculous
Chipotle
stuff. They got
bowls
rid
and
of all
stuff.
the fucking main stuff, and then on top of that, they're giving you E. coli. So to add insult to injury,
It was quite injurious.
isn't it? I think it was like an Indian factory or something like that.
No, I mean,
Or Indian, like it wasn't an Indian company. No, it was a venture firm.
Burger King bought it. It's
Okay, so venture
Restaurant
firm.
Brands International.
But they have all these factories in like Mississauga.
Well, the big scandal, the initial scandal, this is literally the day that Tim Hortons dropped off, is they used to actually bake their donuts and stuff at the store.
Yeah, then they started flying them in.
And then they basically, because they're all whatever, like, it's not, what's the word I'm looking for here? My brain's fried.
Bagel.
No. They're like owner operated.
Cream cheese.
They're not like, the chain doesn't own them all like Starbucks. Like they're owner operated. So then they told the owners, they're like, you'll save like 3 cents a donut if we make them in some facility and just ship them in, and then you microwave them.
Yeah, no, for me, I couldn't taste the difference that much, but I've heard a lot of people secondhand complaining.
Well, I felt the difference.
So you were laid up in bed from a Tim Hortons
Literally,
bagel.
I would do my show, go home, and just curl into bed, and then
that should be the platform of like any Canadian politician. Be like, I'm gonna get this fucking Tim Hortons business sorted out,
and then just go to the bathroom every 20 minutes for.
So you were just punishing the toilet, eh?
Buddy, like to the point where I actually was like, because it's like a condo that they put you up in, so it's like, you know, all the comics are like sharing it, and I'm just like, I was feeling bad. I was like, oh my god, I set a record for sure.
You just know, fucking.
Nobody's used that toilet more than me ever. Not Sam Talent.
We entered that.
Not Lev.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That stinks, dude. No pun intended. And then on top of that, the plumber influencer comes in and takes it.
If I clog that thing up, I just retire from comedy and just be like, that's it.
That's what you would ever.
No way.
I can't face people in this industry after the damage I've done.
Never. They got just destroyed.
I actually had. I'll tell you what. I got a haircut. And they tried to influence me at the haircutting place.
It was you on what?
I'm doing
They took the classes?
Dude, I'm sitting there. I'm 2 seconds in. Fucking woman with like, you know, like a Brooklyn-y haircut.
Okay.
And all the fixins, you know, just like
Sure.
all the fixins of a Brooklyn chick comes up.
All the flair.
She's 2 seconds away from, like, I'm probably 2 minutes into the haircut. She's in my face like this, blah, blah, blah. And I go, what are you doing? Well, what are you doing? And she's like, oh yeah, we just film all this. And I was like, is there an option where we don't? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't want to do
I'm
this.
trapped in there too. You're trapped
Oh
in the
my
thing.
God.
And I was just like, that's so crazy to be like, so at like a establishment to not ask them.
Yeah,
you
to
know what
not
I mean?
ask, just be like, hey, you basically when you entered, it's like when you go to a game.
It's like going to a comedy show.
Yeah,
Like,
comedy show.
you just accept that you're being filmed.
Yeah, you're just like signing away all your rights in perpetuity.
That's where it's at, man. You're going to be getting heart surgery. The guy's going to have his fucking camera. He's going to have one hand. He has to use his one hand because he has his thing up. But I was just like, this is crazy. It's like, it was
That's
really.
why I get my haircuts by dudes that don't speak English.
This guy, the main guy there who don't speak English, but then he wasn't there. So his minion came in and the minion brought the crew.
Like that's honestly the best haircuts are from people who have very poor English.
I disagree, man. Those Cuban places I hate.
They're not Cuban. There's one guy. I think he might be Palestinian, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Might be enemies on the streets, but we're brothers in that chair.
I want to talk about the podcast wars, but like there was a few funny things before that because, well, first of all, huge news for you. The Pope died, so that's big for
Pretty
you.
sick. I'm really hoping. You know what? I've been thinking about this. It's about time we get a Jewish Pope, don't you think?
I actually was
honestly,
thinking that.
like, what the fuck? Like, there's never
Diversity
been
in the Pope.
Yeah, there's never been a Jewish Pope. It would be really fun if they do a chick.
Chick Pope.
That would be his last wishes because he was like the super lib Pope.
He was
His
the lib
final
Pope, but he
wish.
kept calling people gay and stuff.
Yeah.
He went back and forth, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's brought us a lot of joy. So we actually have to thank him.
Yeah.
Remember all of his scandals?
Well, what was the one? I don't even know if I can say it on YouTube, but he kept saying the.
No,
we could just bleep it.
Yeah,
out.
he kept saying he was a veggie.
No, he kept saying there was so much tree.
Yeah.
That was the best. That word. I go, there must be a translation thing going on here. There's no way he's just like, the tree is out of hand in the church.
That's what I'm saying. That was his big scandals. He kept saying shit was too gay for him.
Yeah.
But he's brought us some joy. I remember we had the Black Pope bit, classic BOYSCAST Black Pope bit.
Black Pope was solid. They spinning.
This is Def Comedy Jam as performed by Danny Polishuk. And well, imagine we had a band.
Black Pope.
Yeah, rims and shit on the Pope mobile.
There might be a Chinese Pope or Asian Pope.
Asian Pope.
Asian Pope's like up there for like
Really?
Yeah, for because they have like their people who they think are gonna get it.
I saw there was a black guy that was actually in one of he might potentially the conservative black guy.
Oh, that'd be good. They should
You'd be happy with that?
no, well they should
Oh,
go
that'd be good.
They should go full conclave style. And just
What's that?
Do you remember the movie Conclave? You never saw it? It was like a big Oscar movie this year with like Ralph Fiennes and Stanley Tucci. It stunk. Everybody was like, it was so good. And I watched it and I was like, but anyways, the big thing is, so they're picking a new pope, right?
That's got to be a big deal, right?
What?
They must have a whole procedure for that.
Oh yeah,
Do they do elections? Do they have to do debates?
Oh dude, you've never seen Da Vinci Code or whatever with
hand-to-hand combat for the
They
final
have this
stage.
thing. It's called conclave, where they basically I don't know if it's the cardinals or the bishops or whatever. They like everybody who's like in the running and all the people who do the selection. They lock themselves in the Vatican in this like, and then they
And
can't.
the last man to leave is the Pope.
They can't leave until they've selected a pope, and they have all these votes.
Do they leave the Vatican ever? Don't those guys live there anyway?
Or like whatever, a certain building, like whatever, maybe St. Peter's Basilica or whatever. But they like,
4 men enter, 1 Pope
oh
leaves.
buddy, it's like 200 men or something. It's fucking
Really?
so-
And it's 200 men who've
the
sworn off
boys.
pussy, so these guys want it.
I know, yeah.
I was kind of thinking that you almost can't trust a guy that's sworn off pussy. And by the way, because they always say they get like a lot of gay guys there, it's like, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess people made that point, but like, imagine you're like, you want to be a comedian, and you go, the only thing is, obviously, you can never have sex with another woman again. It's like, well, every comedian would be gay. Yeah, obviously.
yeah.
You know, obviously.
That's what I think. Colum said that in Ireland. Like that's the thing where when you have like 8 kids or whatever, and there's one fruity one,
They send the fruity kid over.
They send the fruity kid off.
It's kind of obvious, you know?
Yeah. But anyways, Conclave, huge piece of shit, even though it was critically acclaimed. But anyways, the premise is that right at the last minute, because they're like, this one pope comes in, or this one guy who's like in the running. He's from like, can't remember, somewhere in the Middle East. And he's like, oh, the old pope like sent me a letter saying to like come or whatever. And then they like let him in. And then they're like picking and they can't pick. And there's all the front runners. And then they finally at the end pick this guy. But then his big secret is that he's a hermaphrodite.
So he was actually the woman pope.
Yeah. You're like, literally,
That's a pretty good job for a
that
guy
was like
with a
literally like
hermaphrodite.
2 hours. The payoff is like, he's intersex. I was like, shut
up,
Literally
yeah.
throwing popcorn on my
Yeah,
screen.
beat
like,
it.
Fuck off.
Miss me with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what happens. They go in and then it's hand-to-hand combat. One pope exits with the holding the
That'd be
carcasses
sick.
of the other front runners.
Pope Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. But he did that. He had the scandal where he slapped the woman's hand. If you remember that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, basically,
It's crazy because they're
he's had
all
a couple
just,
of funny moments, man. He
they're all
was a
just
big meme pope. He was the meme pope.
Yeah, they're all vying for who gets to fucking wash homeless men's feet at
And
Christmas
and
time.
the body's not even cold.
I know.
That is true, though. It is like you're begging for a job where you get to fucking kiss
Like
some
just
feet.
kiss some the dirtiest feet, like you like fucking on an episode of Jackass or something, where you're like, who like literally you go to Skid Row, the 10 just most disgusting men.
I'm Pope Francis, and this is washing a bum's foot.
Bow, down, now.
This is kissing bum's feet.
It's like Steve-O just like throwing up on the
Yeah.
feet. The Pope's just like, what's the problem here? Sick.
Sucking
Guys,
on
this is
bum's
awesome,
toes.
man. I don't know what you guys don't like about this.
I was actually saying that with the plumber influencer. That's because you want a guy named Carl. I was saying this the opposite of that is like when girls go in to get a pedicure from an Asian place, and then it's like Asian, and then just like a dude named Carl. It's like, let's get those toes out.
Get 'em out.
His hands are rough too.
You do actually see them sometimes at those places where there'll be like this odd, just one Asian dude, not gay.
Well, yeah, no, you do not.
Yeah, sometimes you do. I
don't
remember
know.
where did I go? Mall of America when I was doing shows there, and they had. I went to go one of those massage places.
He's gay. I got news for you.
No, I wasn't gay. There's just all these just old Asian men. Old Asian men give fucking solid massages. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I don't like a massage by a dude. but that sounds more like
best
your
massage
alley
I've
than
ever had in
mine.
my life was from some old Chinese man in China.
I'll take a worse massage from a chick.
Yep, not I.
That you're about that life,
Oh,
yeah.
man, I support the boys. Not Ryan.
They had, I guess his other scandal, he had the transgender chicks where he kept bringing the trans chicks in. But he was sort of like the lib pope. Like he was. He
I
had to
hated
like,
him for
he
it.
was like not your grandmother's pope sort of thing. You know what I mean?
No, he was not.
And he was like pro-immigration. I think people didn't like that much.
No.
So I guess that's a big dispute whether they get like a lib pope or a conservative pope.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how it works because they all just vote. I guess so. They just.
So what
decide.
happens? Like everyone in the
They all just get locked in with all the candidates, and then I think it's basically I think it's every day they like light like everybody looks at the steeple or whatever, and if black smoke comes out, it means they haven't picked one, and if white smoke comes out, it means they have picked them. So then every day they just
Sort of like a
look-
gender reveal for the
kind
pope.
of. It is literally a gender reveal for the Pope. Basically, it's the OG gender reveal. And then they just fucking all just, get in there and they just figure out who the next Pope's going to be.
Do you think the Pope makes a final request where he goes, they read his will and testament, and the last thing was like that I want any fucking, don't want a sausage party at my funeral, so it's like only fucking fit bitches. Just like a fun.
Just fucking.
And he goes one thing, and he goes, his new thing is he goes, I want my funeral to be like full fit bitches, and my only request is the new Pope's not hotter than me.
Maybe they bring Ratzinger
I don't want
back.
some Pope with a bigger dick than me.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
You have to measure the dick, and he doesn't want it to be bigger than Francis's.
No, you don't want to fucking out-compete Francis on the piece.
But in topic of you brought up Tim Hortons, though, that's been the big thing in Canada right now because the election's right about there. And
Yeah,
then
next episode we're gonna.
there is, dude. If you watch the videos, so basically they do. It's like this Polyev versus Carney, and the Carney's like kind of like 60-year-old boomer lib, right?
Yeah.
And people are going and like filming at his rallies and stuff, and every single person there is like 80-year-old woman.
Yeah.
But they're all doing the thing like the Mike Myers did on SNL where he goes elbows up.
Elbows up.
So it's like,
which is someone told me that because at first I didn't know even what that was a reference to, and they go it's a hockey thing, and then
you didn't know that? Yeah.
But then you're like, isn't that like a dirty play?
It's a dirty play.
Yeah. Okay.
But they don't, these are 75-year-old women. They don't realize that. No, they don't get, yeah, it is. I mean, if someone's checking you and you put your elbow up, you're like, obviously that's a dirty play.
It's so weird.
But you're like defending yourself, I
Sure.
guess, right?
I guess.
The guy's like, checking you from behind. But like, so the whole thing is these women are 80 years old, and all of them, there's people there like from conservative media and stuff like that, and just being like, asking them questions. And this is like a bunch of 75-year-old women being like,
fuck you.
Fuck yeah.
And they're all giving middle fingers. Like they're all convinced.
You're not going to take our reproductive rights.
You're like, what? Reproductive rights?
They think they're hip. That's the thing, right? Because in their mind, they're like, I guess when they were 40, they probably see it as like, I was like in line with the college kids who were the cool, and they still have that mentality where it's like, but yeah, and there's this guy, he's probably like 80 years old, and he just, he gives the middle finger, and then everyone was just making ads being like, this is
the face of
the liberal boomer.
The liberal
and
boomer.
this was
the guy was like, he used to run like a brewery or something, so then the brewery was getting fucked.
Oh, really?
Because like everybody was like boycotting, like they were just like, bombing their social media.
It's so funny though, because I do know so many of those guys.
Yeah.
Where it's just like the 80-year-old.
Yeah, it's literally, it's the guy who bought a house for 50 grand.
Yes.
It's worth $1 million now. Feels like a genius.
And he was like, yes, and maybe you shouldn't eat so much avocado toast.
Yeah, exactly. Go, you're eating too much avocado toast there.
And then all of their policies, like, like fuck over young people and help them. And they get to be like, well, you're a racist.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes, I will outsource my job. I will secure my pension. I will lower wages. I will open borders. I will jail you for having wrong opinions. I will sell my house to foreign investors. Elbows up. But I've seen so many people doing the old lady things, being like, so what if you have to sleep on the street? Elbows up.
Elbows up. Yeah. Elbows up in your tent city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as of now, it's Mark Hardy's 85% chance to win. So
yeah, he's gonna win. But it is funny if you watch the rallies with the old ladies and stuff like that. It's literally like going through an old age home.
Yeah.
Where they're having like
that's the base.
a Kamala Harris day or something.
Yeah, that's the base. It's just,
I didn't realize the extent to which it was like oldies.
yeah. Oh yeah, big time. And yeah, I mean, they've always been big liberal supporters. So, but it has flipped. Like I was talking to people at the Vancouver show, and like, it used to be when we were younger, it's like, yeah, the old people were the conservatives and the young people were the liberals. And now it's literally flipped where the young people are the conservatives and the old people are the liberals. But the problem is the young people don't vote like fucking 75-year-olds.
75-year-olds got nothing to do, man. Nothing on the plate.
They got nothing to do, and they're voting.
They make a week out of that voting.
Oh, fuck yeah.
They circle it on the calendar. They're ready to go.
Oh, yeah. They know every fucking school that they can vote at.
They know, and they've already mapped out their routes, and they know the times. They've done the ChatGPT of what time's probably the best to go for the least traffic, stuff like that.
Yep.
And then also, lastly,
anyways, Canada's fucked.
Kanye West, his final form, sucking off his cousin.
Good for him, man. Good for him.
Good for him.
I love how all his tweets has just been trying to play it off like all these just jokes about it now too. He goes, like I guess I'm gay.
Well, it was sort of like, in my opinion, there was two parts because he was kind of Eminemming himself a little bit. Where he thought he was doing the Eminem, where he was like, "Yeah, I sucked off my cousin. What are you going to say about it? Now, what are you going to say about me?" But I think more importantly, it was like, it was a sign that like the Jew stuff was like, it's too popular now.
Sure, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the talking shit about Jews is just like too many people have like caught on to that can get you followers. So he's sort of like, well, I need a new. He's back to like, I'm gay.
Yeah, I'm gay. He goes, has anybody done this? Is anybody doing this?
Yeah. How about this? I sucked off my cousin.
Yeah. I mean, for him, he's like, I don't want to be doing the thing everybody's doing.
I think that's what it is. I think he's on Twitter being like, everyone's biting my fucking style with like being a Nazi.
I started this whole thing.
He didn't start it, but he definitely popularized some of it. He definitely was maybe somewhat of an early adopter from the first mainstream early adopter.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that he feels like he's getting his style jacked, so he's got to go the opposite way, where he's like, how about I sucked off my cousin? And then also there's maybe the other way, where it's a Kevin Spacey thing, where it's like he was thinking that maybe this gets him out of the cancellation. But I think if out of those three options, where it was Eminemming himself, trying to reverse his cancellation by being sympathetic, or that the Nazi stuff was just getting a little played out. I think he was the Nazi stuff played out for him.
I feel like this strategy would work better for him if his audience wasn't so black.
The black people don't love that stuff.
They go, dude, we were fine with all the Jew stuff, but come on, man.
This Bati boy stuff.
Bati boy stuff? Come on, man.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. That's the three people that agree, or the two people that agree is Jamaican men, liberal women. Nothing funny about gay jokes.
That's good shit.
Gay jokes ain't funny.
Nothing funny about him.
Nothing at all funny about it.
No, sir.
Yeah. But there has been podcast wars going on, my friend. People have probably been paying attention. Douglas Murray versus Constantine versus Dave Smith versus Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, everybody's getting into the mix here.
How accurate have we called the fact that Israel-Palestine breaks up every coalition?
Yeah.
It literally was. That was the end of every. Every coalition of like people has been split up by that.
Yeah,
it changed the whole game.
I know. I'm curious what people like, because so many people have just like made it their whole thing, and then I'm like, because it is going to end at some point.
I was saying that. I think people, including myself, are just like a little sick of talking. I feel that in my normal life doing on stage.
Like, is this just COVID where they go, yeah, we just move on to a new thing? Like, are there going to be
war
like
has to be over.
Are there going to be like long Gaza people who are just like, I have long Gaza, and I just go, I still talk about it. You go, like, 8 years later, you go, it's not safe for them out there. You go, man, everybody, what, you guys are just going to fucking birthday parties with no masks on?
Well, in Gaza, yeah, there has always been those people.
Yeah.
But
there's a whole new group of people.
What do they do?
What do they do?
I do agree with that 100% though. In real life, I'm just like, I could tell that everyone's like, because I have a lot of Jewish friends that are like really hyped up about it, like especially in comedy. And then I have a lot of friends, some of which are Jewish, that are very hyped on Palestine. I can even feel everyone just being like, I'm getting a little sick of talking about Jews nonstop.
That's tiresome.
I do. Do you not feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, it's just boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely funnier and fun for a bit, and then you go, I don't know.
But the podcast war thing is very interesting because I'll tell you the first part is I listened to Jordan Peterson on Rogan too.
Yeah.
And people are even like killing him. People were saying like Rogan's done. Like all of Twitter was like, Rogan had a good run.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, you said that he had Rich Voss on the next day. And
that was the best. Literally, like all the fucking hard, like anti-Jew people were like, "Oh, looks like Rogan got the call."
Yeah, because he had Rich
Voss on with his big Star of David, and you're like, Rich Voss. That's who the big guns sent in. That's who Netanyahu called up Rogan.
The king.
He goes, I got your next guest for you. I won't take no for an answer. Who is it? BB?
Yeah.
Rich Voss.
Yeah, and we're not
Love
taking
Rich
no.
Voss, but
I was hanging out with him this weekend. He was a fucking goat. But
just the idea that like people who don't know who Rich Voss is thinking like, oh, this guy's probably
because the people that were saying that didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah. They just see this Jewish guy and they're like, oh, it's like obviously.
Dude, Jordan Peterson, it's much like I guess he's in the thick of it, and people were calling him an Israel shill and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That guy is so funny. Like, dude, I listened to that interview. At one point, he's like, I'm gonna do an analogy here that's a little complex, so it's gonna be hard for me to get the words perfect because it's such a complex concept. But so in Pinocchio. He
just goes back to Pinocchio.
That's all every single thing is just a Bible story or a fucking children's novel. Yep. Like he's
just playing the hits, man.
Yeah, I guess he relates. It's interesting. It's like, I guess everyone has their like framework for something, but like he sees everything as always can relate back to like Snow White,
sure,
Pinocchio, Beauty and the Beast, and then Adam and Eve. Like if you were with your buddy though, and it's like every single thing, you'd just be like, this guy's a fucking idiot. He goes, that reminds me of the time Job actually. Like it's
all right.
Like Corinthians 4:5. Like everything with him is back to there. And then at one point he said with Adam and Eve, Adam's a cuck.
Really? Call Adam a cuck?
Yeah, he goes,
Jordan.
I think he's talking about how basically that like women have like the psychopaths are better at manipulating women because of their temperament and everything. And he was saying that Adam wouldn't put a stop to it because he was a cock. some version of that.
I like it. I'm only like a quarter of the way through that episode.
But yes, then Douglas Murray went on Sam Harris. I guess all these people Sam Harris I've never been a fan of, but like Douglas Murray, Brett Weinstein, Dave obviously is a buddy. Yeah. Like all these people I kind of know and friends of the pod too.
Sure.
So but Israel Palestine has split a fucking wrench in the whole thing.
I mean, that's the thing. That was like my biggest objection to Douglas Murray was, he's got pretty killed on this, was the whole like, like you can't have opinions on stuff like if you haven't been there, and you're like, this whole space is literally just the opinion industry. Like the podcast business is like, we're all in the business of just having opinions about stuff.
You're never going to catch me on the side of these ideas are dangerous.
No.
You're just like, Yeah, and that's just temperament of us too. But you're never gonna catch me being like, "That's dangerous."
Oh,
those are dangerous
Dangerous
ideas.
ideas. You go, no.
Well, you know what? Too, when you're talking about the, like the expertise or whatever, there is like, the first part is kind of like. There's like a risk tolerance thing that I was kind of thinking about where it's like, kind of you can have what you prefer and then you don't always have to be preferred. Like in America, obviously it's like probably better for people who are at like, it's better place to like be great. But it's probably not better than some places to be the bottom rung. Like obviously if you're homeless, it's probably better to be the place where they're just like pouring money on you.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's also, I feel like America has that with like ideas as well, where it's like, because if you think about it, a lot of the British people were on the other side. It was and it's like that idea of like things are dangerous and stuff like that. I feel like other countries, cycles don't move as quick. So the danger, like in America, maybe I'm not explaining this that great, but I think my point is sound. So, right, there's always an arbitrage opportunity when everyone's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when the masses are wrong, and the idea is like these ideas are taking place and everyone's wrong, it feels like in America, to some degree, when everyone's wrong about something, there's like a business opportunity in like calling that out.
Well, because a lot of people inherently know it's wrong too.
Yes.
Like the thing is, there's like a lot of like, the classic thing would be like the fucking trans women in sports where people are just like, yeah, you can't say it and everybody knows it. And then people just start saying it. Oh, I like this guy. This guy fucking
well, someone's finally saying it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And
it's like
makes me feel crazy that nobody says it.
And that like system kind of like levels out the ideas. So like you look at it, you go, it's dangerous. And you go, well, it feels like the old system broke down. And then now everyone's kind of like debating out what the new system looks like. And that's happening.
Yeah.
And that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah. And also like your point, like when you do, like when Dave and Douglas Murray debate or whatever, like the point of it is not for them to change each other's minds. Like the point of this is like someone watches this with like, maybe doesn't really have an opinion and you're trying to change their mind or make them make up their mind about what they think about this, I guess. And I guess the end goal is you go, yeah, I got like 80% of people agree with me. So this is like,
what are the people
consensus
changing?
is.
And I think there's also a ton of people that just like listen to both and it's like, okay, that gets that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if it wasn't so polarizing, so many people would probably be like, all right, that's kind of a good point. Like even like the Douglas Murray thing, even though like when he was saying, I do get the idea of like one of the things that's all I've never liked is when comedians say, I'm just joking, but they're not.
Yes.
Like if they go, because there is jokes where you don't believe what you say, and then there is jokes where you do believe it, right? So someone goes, oh, you're getting mad at me for a joke, and you're like, but you don't you think that?
Right.
Like if my joke was that like I think they need to get rid of immigrants, right? And then they go, oh, were you joking? So you don't think that? You go, no, I do think that. You go, well, it's an opinion in a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is your opinion.
Yeah, you go,
so I have accountability for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do get the idea of that where he was kind of saying the jelly thing, where he was like, a lot of people kind of are like, well, I'm an expert on this, but then when you push them, they're kind of like, well, I'm not, But I don't think that's Dave does that.
No.
Like I think Dave takes accountability he goes, like if you argued with Dave, like he doesn't say like, he doesn't say, well, I'm not,
No, yeah.
he says that he would say like, these are my opinions, tell me where I'm like.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just don't think that's a fair criticism of Dave because he doesn't really do that.
No, he doesn't do that. I mean, some people do that, but yeah, Dave doesn't really do that.
I mean, every now and then he was
Dave's
like, I'm
more
just
well-read
a
than
dumb comedian or
most
whatever. But
scholars, like,
yeah, but if he was arguing against someone, like when he gets in debates, he doesn't also go, and I'm just a pug.
Yeah.
He does say like, I'm arguing this side.
Yeah, I'm arguing this side. He goes, I read about the shit all day.
And I'll take accountability. Yeah, exactly. I'll take accountability for that.
I mean, at what point do you read about something all the time and you'd be like, yeah, I'm definitely some kind of expert.
And everyone's opinions just come from somewhere, like kind of, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, even like they're talking about Daryl Cooper so much, and you're like, yeah, the guy's like, I mean, obviously he wasn't in World War II. All he can do is just read books about World War II.
I guess his argument on that is like, well, you can't go to World War, but you can go to Israel. It's like, yes, it's also true that it would probably potentially help to go to tourism and war. But then on the other hand, sometimes you go to these places and you come back and you go, because I've always said whenever people are talking about like Toronto, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, or places that you've been to where you're like, they sort of get it right, but they don't get the levels right.
Yeah.
So whenever you go to a place, they go,
New York City is the perfect example of that. It's like, dude, how many people are like, man, it must be fucking dangerous.
Yes.
there. And you're like, yeah, there's like a block that's dangerous.
yeah, they don't get the
It's
extent.
fine.
You know what I mean? Like you go, when you're, whenever someone says like, oh, this is a big problem. One is they don't get like how much it actually affects your daily life.
Yeah.
And then the second one they don't get is like the amount that people care, where you're like, imagine in a city, you're like, oh, everyone hates this politician. And then they go, but you're like, yeah, but they also think differently about politics than you. So it's like, yeah, they think he's a clown.
Yeah.
So that he's like an eye roll, but it's not the way that like Americans are. So a lot of times you're like, you don't get the little intricacies of the
Yeah.
thing. But sometimes also going into, you also can come to America and just come to New York, and then you go back and you go, oh, this is how America is. Like there's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
many different,
You're
like I don't, you probably have to be there for a while to really understand like the nuance too. You know?
And the idea
you gotta
that
really be submerged in it.
Douglas Murray was like, oh, you need to have like, if you bring these people on, bring experts. And you're like, but they talk about 50 different things in an episode, right? You're like, we'll bring some guy on. Yeah, he talks about Israel for 15 minutes and then talks about something else. And then you're like, you can't bring an expert on every topic on.
Yeah, I don't even know what
it's
the
like, I don't know.
proposal
It's just
is.
like, yeah, these are just guys talking. I don't know. If you don't like it, go watch something else, I guess. I don't know. I guess they're like, oh, well, you have a big platform. You have like an obligation. He's like, no, I don't.
Well, I guess everyone, whether you have an obligation or not, you make choices. Like, obviously, Rogan's not like, he's just like, first 10 people to message me gets to do the show. Like, he
Yeah.
obviously curates
he
who he thinks
what
is
he wants to
interesting.
curate. I don't know how it's any different than CNN, where CNN was like, yeah, we tell the stories we want to tell, and then people would just rebuke them.
Well, some of the people
en
that-
masse because they were like, yeah, you guys are lying to us, and this is shit, and then we go, we don't watch it anymore.
Yeah,
and
that's-
you get punished by the market.
And then some of the people that,
Which I'm sure-
probably they'd be saying is too dangerous to have on, like, yeah, people used to say that about you, too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they would say that about tons of people, and you go, I don't know. It's
Huel Black Edition, ready to drink, has been added to my repertoire for the mornings.
They're nice.
Do you have the bag?
No, I don't have the bag, but I have the pre-made ones.
Yeah, the pre-made. The pre-mades are great. The pre-mades, we have the studio. I have the bag right now. And sometimes I've been doing it for dinner. Sometimes I've been doing it for breakfast.
Dude, 35 grams of protein. It's amazing.
They're not messing around with the
Amazing, man.
protein, but it tastes great. It's thick.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying. So, and you do want to stir it up, though, because they're thick. It's thicker
Yeah,
than your
yeah.
average one.
Yeah, you gotta really give it a nice stir.
Yeah, they're fucking sick, though. The flavors are banging. We got vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, banana, iced coffee, huge protein benefits, contains vitamin C, stupidly convenient. We're talking no prep, no hassle. Grab it, crack it, cheaper than a coffee. When you think about what you'd be spending on takeout or meals, it is a no-brainer. And taste amazing. So Black Edition, ready to drink, meal in a bottle. One bottle, 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, low in sugar. Perfectly balanced meal designed by nutrition experts, takes the guesswork out of healthy eating. It's convenient, it tastes great. Huel shakes actually taste like a milkshake. They come in a range of flavors, low in sugar, very affordable. New customers, you just want to visit huel.com/boyscast today. Use the code boyscast to get 15% off your first order plus a free gift. That is huel.com/boyscast with the code boyscast for 15% off. Boys, the spring is here. Make it your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you need. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. There is nothing worse than wasting a sunny day sitting in the kitchen. Do you call it?
Yeah, the kitchen.
The kitchen. Do you believe it's
I
called?
believe that's what my wife calls it.
I wouldn't. To be honest, I
Wouldn't
wouldn't even-
Wouldn't know.
Factor meals are convenient as shit. I hate wasting time cooking. I literally,
Dude, it's
I
the
think
best. Literally 2 minutes. No
what-
cleanup.
I think that's a Hermosi thing, but I really do believe that it's like one of the biggest wastes of time. Some people might disagree, but for me, that's Factor meals have been a big part, and also they're huge for losing weight. I know so much people that
Great.
like stayed healthy by just
Get
eating
high
the Factor
protein,
meals.
get all your macros.
Factor meals ready to eat. They come in a cool container that actually keeps them warm, or it keeps them cool. So if it's outside of your door for like
Yeah.
a little bit,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're-
Dude, my building, like you see them every day. Literally
Exactly.
Just sit in the lobby be.
A lot of people, yeah, and your building's probably walking around a lot of people that look like they're in shape too.
Oh yeah, a lot of jacked beasts.
They have meals for your goals. They got Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, guilt-free snacks, desserts,
Delicious smoothies.
delicious smoothies. It's easy to savor more this spring. So Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. So get started at factormeals.com/boyscast. Use the code boyscast, 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That is code boyscast at factormeals.com/boyscast for 50% off plus free shipping. Then the other, you know what another one was? Is that people will be like, oh, there's not enough people like pushing back kind of thing about this stuff. And I'm like, feels fairly even to me.
the whole mainstream media apparatus is the pushback.
Yeah, it feels pretty
It's
even.
like you're like, yeah, you don't have anybody taking the other side of this, and you're like, yeah, maybe not on this show
Or Twitter.
or Twitter or whatever. But I mean, there are lots of people
Yeah,
on Twitter.
it's-
But
it's-
you're like, yes, there are tons of people taking the other side of this. Like, if you go watch, literally, the United States federal government. Like, is just like, if you go to like
Currently pushing back
Currently,
against
like,
it.
if you go to a fucking protest, they will cancel your visa.
Yeah.
Or like not admit you to the United States based on like your tweets. Like, there is a large pushback to this. So it's like,
Yeah, so at the very least, it's
to
like
say that this is just this
split.
one-sided thing is, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so to me, it was just like, this is the fucking market of ideas working how it's supposed to.
Well, they're acting like that's like Rogan is
The center of that universe.
I guess, but you're like, it's like this vacuum or something, or this like insular thing where you're like, no, this is just one piece of the entire media landscape. And you're like, if you take it as a whole, then you're like, it's probably fairly balanced, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, Francis is a boy, and I like Constantine. I don't know. I actually haven't talked to Francis exactly where he stands on this, but I remember to be honest, I remember even when we were arguing a little bit about the like progressive stuff. I remember even at the time, I was a little disagreed with his opinion there because he was a little more like, this is the end of the world. You can't do comedy anymore.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, those people are idiots. They're ruining their credibility. There's a new industry that's going to take it over.
Yeah.
Which I think has happened. It's like, dude, I was talking to like Ari's like recording. He did his new storytelling show that got like canceled in the midst of him being canceled and stuff like that. And then, so he brought all of his boys, which are like the biggest comedians in the world. Dude, fucking Nate Bargatze flies in on a PJ to do one set and fucking leaves.
Crazy.
And then, you know, and that may end up, who knows where that ends up or whatever, but I'm sure it'll be this like hugely dominant cultural thing in comedy. And you're just like, that's people like figuring out what the new fucking world looks like.
The whole thing's
it's like,
being reordered.
it's uncharted. And I think a lot of people get like uncomfortable in unchartedness, you know?
Yeah. I mean, people like certainty.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't care.
I don't care.
But you have me and you have a higher like risk tolerance. So I think
That's
it's a
for
risk
sure.
tolerance thing, you know? It's like, there's a certain thing where people are just like, this might go in the other, like if in their mind, imagine even if we agreed where they go, there's like a 2% chance this is going to be like everyone's going to be like a Nazi, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's so low. It's not going to, it's like, that's not a worry of mine.
No. Again, it's very low when the federal government is doing what the federal government's doing right now.
Right.
You're like, they're course correcting so hard on this shit where like, you know, it seems difficult to believe. Like, if anything, they'll probably make more people start thinking that way. But like, again, you're like, I don't know. It's still a minority of all people. Like, you go talk to people on the fucking main street, like, they're not.
I think, I don't know. I think you're, again, me and you always disagree on that.
Yeah.
No, I have people in my family, people in normal life that I meet that are, they're consumed by this issue.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are. But
Dude, every media source talks about it nonstop. Every social media platform is talking about it. If you're on TikTok, it's all fucking this shit. If you're on Twitter, like, so I think that you really have to be living in a rock. I'm not saying no one is, but
I'm not saying people don't know about
the people
it,
who aren't
but-
paying attention to this are the people who aren't paying attention to anything.
yeah, that's true.
I don't think there's a version where you're
Hey,
like,
man, I see this on a weekly basis, at least. Like, you know, they had, you know, the Connors, the show The Connors, the
Yeah.
Roseanne, and they're like, they just had their series finale.
what? That's a show still?
Exactly. With fucking gangbuster ratings, Ryan. Like,
You
probably.
think Connors is crushing it?
Yes. And you're like, who watches this shit? Like all these fucking Bob Loves Abishola and it's like 19th season. You're like, who watches any of this shit? Like you see this and you go, there's a whole other world of people out there who are like living in a different.
You don't have to be in. You can be in both worlds. Again,
I guess,
ranking through NCIS seasons. You know that about me.
I understand that, but I'm just saying you don't fucking like have like a reminder set so you can catch episodes of The Connors live every Tuesday night at 8. But like 5 million people do in America.
Sure. Okay, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about this world where it's like probably our podcaster friends versus our comedian friends to some degree. You might say that's the split a little bit. But again, I was at the cellar party and I was kind of talking about this with people. Like, I have plenty of comedian friends that are on the Douglas Murray side of like, this is dangerous. And I'm just like, I think you're like overreacting is kind of my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the argument for this is dangerous. Is they're like, well, you know, it's just like you just kind of keep letting it happen until it gets too far. And
it's always back to a safety danger issue.
That's what it is. It's literally like, well, they're like, you know, let this get too far. And then eventually you're like, it's too late and there's no going back. And that's the pro Douglas Murray argument, I suppose.
Yeah.
They go, you can just like kind of tolerate this until you're like, it's reached such a critical mass where you're like, you can't.
I guess to be fair, their argument would be kind of like that. Well, we're not telling them this should be censored or anything. We're just arguing with them, right?
Yeah.
That would be their kind of argument. But I think that to some degree they are kind of like, you know, it's irresponsible. Just those words, like it's irresponsible to have him on, like all that sort of stuff. Like, and also that's, again, it's just like a cycle. It's like, it's very possible Rogan's like, okay, I had all those guys on. It's like, I kind of get that thing now. And like he moves on to the next thing.
I mean, it'll end at some point.
It's like, no matter how you slice it, it's like someone gets insanely popular. People are going to want to have them on their platform.
Yeah.
Because it's like interesting. You go, you know, like when Andrew Tate becomes the biggest guy in the world and they're like, don't have him on. You're like, I don't know, like everyone's talking about this guy. It's like interesting to everyone. You're like, it's interesting. What's the deal here? What's going on? Let me see from my, and I think Rogan's in a position where you're like, you know what? I'll just see from my own eyes. What's this guy's deal?
Yeah.
Hey, come in and tell me your deal. You're like, got this crazy popular message. Like, do I think this guy's like bullshit or do I think he's telling the truth? Come in and let's chat it out.
Yeah, which I don't think is unreasonable for him. And again, it's his show. I don't know. It's like, again, if people really dislike it, like if he, you know, had in like people were, you know, Larry David did that super lame thing. I don't know if you saw
what did Larry David do?
Oh, you didn't see that?
I think I did see
it. Was Bill Maher had his thing about meeting with Trump, and it was like he was like better than expected. And then Larry David wrote an op-ed in like the New York Times is like my dinner with Hitler. Or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
And it was just like this, basically the same thing, but just like, oh, I met with Hitler. It's like 1939.
Great dinner.
Great guy. It's like totally like misunderstood thing. Essentially, you know, doing that thing where calling Trump Hitler, which nobody's done before. But I don't know what my point was here, but essentially you're like, I don't know, like, look, it's just like, it's like no podcast stays on top forever. No TV show stays on top forever. You're like, eventually if you piss off your, like a majority of your audience and they don't like it, then they'll go move somewhere else.
Yeah, like, sometimes. And then sometimes you get new audience if you just stay with yourself.
Audience, yeah.
Try to stay with what, I think that's why it is important to have like actual people in your real life, like friends and people that kind of have good opinions that you can, that you're not just like in a world and Twitter's your only input.
Oh, for sure.
Like I do think some people are kind of like isolated away and their only like input to themselves is Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, worst input.
Well, you start believing like the world's like, you start believing things are like fucking insane.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like if you're on the internet and like your only like opinion of like what exists is cat turd, like you're just like,
hey man, that guy busts his ass.
Well, that's the opinions where you're just like,
see that tweet of his?
Yeah, oh yeah, what did he do?
He's like literally like, I guess he's saying he's like shadow banned or something, and then he's like, I bust my ass tweeting 12 to 15 hours a day on here. And he's like, my money's dried up from my tweets.
What is he mostly like?
He's just mad.
We need Patriot water kind of thing.
No. He's just like his engagement like has gone down or something, and he's like saying, he's like,
no, I said, what does he post? I just asked.
Oh, like literal like laughing at a quote.
American flag?
No, literally just like ha 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 at a New York Post article. Oh. Busting his ass 12 to 15 hours a day in the Twitter mines. It's ridiculous.
Hey, I lay all of this at the hands of TikTok because this is what I say, that TikTok you know my theory. That
Twitter monetization was a huge mistake.
But Twitter, I have to go both ways because Twitter has that platform is garbage.
Yeah.
However, that being like the free speech platform made other companies, it like bullied other companies because like. If you go, we'll allow way more, other companies sort of, it's like you need to be a cartel to like properly like censor. So that had a positive effect on other companies. Whereas TikTok with their algorithms and short term fucking will send you what you like for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
That had a negative effect on everything, but that had a negative effect on other platforms because other platforms had to be like, it's literally going into a grocery store and you're like, you know, I want to, I walk into like a health food store and then everything's cake on the wall and you're just like, well, I followed these people. You're like, we don't care who you follow.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I walked into a health food store and they go, well, too bad. We don't care what you walked into. We just you looked at that cake for 3 seconds, so we know you want more cake. And you're like, no,
you go, I have obviously.
That's what I want.
I like cake. I'm not saying I don't like cake.
Obviously, I like titties, but like, I didn't choose to go to a strip club right now. I didn't even follow any fucking like OnlyFans hoes. And they go, we don't give a shit. We know you like it.
Yeah.
Here's it always. And I think that had a negative effect on the other platforms. Whereas the Twitter, although they made their own platform worse, I think it made other platforms better. So that's where I give it.
Yeah. Well, I agree because I don't know if you noticed on YouTube, but like on Low Value Mail like a few weeks ago, because there was some article or something or some story. And remember how like we used to have to say grape instead of rape?
Yeah.
And then you go up here, everybody's like, oh, like, and I said rape 400 times and fully monetized.
Okay.
Doesn't matter anymore.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah, but I think Twitter has that.
Yeah. And I was just talking in the reference and I was just like, I'm 40 years old. I'm not saying grape. I'm not saying grape. I'm not saying that. Like literally, I
never said grape.
No, I never said it either. But you'd see like YouTube,
Unalive's another one.
Like Unalive, like you can say suicide now. It's like totally fine or whatever. But like there was this period where like literally like adult men are like, you graped her. Like, shut up.
Grape stinks.
Aren't you embarrassed?
Definitely aren't you embarrassed?
Grape is terrible. And like literally YouTube's probably like, oh, they said grape. There's nothing we can do about it. Everybody knows exactly what they mean.
Foiled again.
Grape was ridiculous. There should be a fucking software where you can just go back to all your old videos and just remove the time you said grape. Just so it's not like anywhere.
Yeah, so that place is a hellhole. If you believe that that's the world, you're fucking...
No, but it's the monetization has made it fucking brutal. Dude,
I know, because
all the Indian engagement farms and
you don't
shit.
need to tell me it's a fucking hellhole. And agreed.
Get rid of it. It's
because
like, it's not incentivizing anything.
They wouldn't be doing it if they couldn't. But see, you have a different solution. I have the same problem.
I have a final solution, Ryan.
I actually do know the solution, by the way, which is what other platforms do. But again, I will blame TikTok for this.
Yeah.
The solution is you can't monetize other people's content.
Well, that obviously, I actually had
most of the engagement slop is fucking stolen shit.
Yeah, I actually had my first DMCA notice on Twitter ever.
What did that say?
2 days ago, I woke up
Stealing Chris Farley's body type.
I opened Twitter and my account was like locked, and I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I hadn't even posted because I was sick, so I hadn't really been posting. I go, "What did I post that I got a DMCA notice?" And then like they didn't, and I just like said like sure, and then I like unlocked my account, and then but it didn't say what the thing was. I looked through my videos, I didn't see anything, and then I got an email like the next day, and it was I posted a clip of when Hunter Biden went on Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, you posted a Jimmy Kimmel clip,
but I posted it in like November.
So Kimmel started getting...
But I don't know if it was like Hunter Biden or what, but it was like this Hunter Biden clip where it was just like, it was so insane because it was, I'd never seen it. It was Hunter Biden. He was basically talking about the laptop and how he was like, I was so fucked up. Like, I didn't even know what was going on. And like Jimmy Kimmel was very much like, you know, going along with it and very like, you know, it felt like very puppet shit kind of on Jimmy Kimmel's part. But anyway, I posted it like just being like, what a weird fucking segment. And I posted it in November. And then 2 days ago, they just like DMCA'd me.
I've never even heard of that on Twitter, man.
But I'm like, I get it if you get it within 2 days. Like there has been, remember Ray Gun when her shit was happening? And everybody was going crazy on her, and then the Olympics did it for everybody. So it's like every person who would like tweet like making fun of ray gun using like the NBC clip.
So big places,
but they do it
figured out.
immediately. They don't do it 5 months later.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, what is Kimmel's randomly 5 months later trying to
5 months
scrub?
later, or it's the fucking he got the auto pen Joe. So I don't like this. Sleepy Joe Biden's not so sleepy. He's actually on the case.
Yeah. The other thing is with the expert stuff. I feel like my gripe was always
Your grape.
my grape was always
Ryan's grape.
that it wasn't so much of like who's an expert and who's not. It was just like a lot of things that people say are expertise are really just schools of thought.
Yeah.
Like, you ever talk to someone who knows a lot about a topic? Like, you know, I have a buddy who's like a philosophy professor. You'll be like, oh, this and this and this. He'll be like, yeah, that's Voltaire's theory. And that's
Sure.
like everything's schools of thought.
Right.
So a lot of experts have different schools of thought. So when they're talking about like economics, someone will be like, well, yeah, I'm an expert in economics and I think this. And you're just like, yeah, but that's one of this. And there's also economists that think the other thing.
Absolutely.
So
you guys could both have master's degrees for like you could both be like PhD like econ from Harvard and think differently.
So a lot of times when you have an expert, even if he's debating against a non-expert, a lot of times the non-expert is really just debating the other experts.
Yeah. Also, experts were fucking wrong about everything for the last 5 years, so we're not doing experts anymore. That's another part of this whole thing. Like the huge piece of this
We're not doing that anymore.
A huge piece of this entire puzzle here is you're like, yes, we actually had like reverence for experts up until COVID happened, and then you're
Yeah.
like, you guys fucked the whole thing up.
Yeah, and so they're
And
like,
then we're like, okay, well then what is an expert? Like, I don't know. Like, I guess you do your best. Like, you know, my mechanic, I trust him to be an expert in, you know, fixing my car.
well, I think
obviously.
the truth is, like, in your normal life, I have like 7 or 8 people that
I mean,
are
the person who
generally
cuts your
right.
hair is like, you go, I guess is an expert in
Right,
hair.
but don't you have people that have like generally been right, like have really good track records?
Absolutely.
So if you're like, oh, I follow these 7 or 8 people, they're like mostly right.
Yeah.
And then you go, if they all agree, that's like a pretty
Yeah,
good sign.
absolutely.
If all of the people in your life that are always right,
Yeah.
like all kind of think something, and if they all like right now, you might be like, it's fucking split down the middle.
Right.
Well, you go, well, these are the experts. You go, but those people have all been fucking pretty right about everything as well.
Yeah.
So you're kind of in a situation where you're like, well, now this one's
Well, I guess-
wishy-washy.
I mean, maybe sometimes there's not an answer.
but that's what I'm saying. That was my whole
Yeah.
point, is that it's schools of thought at
Yeah,
that
exactly.
point.
You just
So
go,
it's
yeah,
like
people have opinions, I guess, and
they have, but that's like a philosophical thing where you go, well, yeah. So I get it. There's like a split in like philosophy on this, and I think that, you know how they say everything's just packaging and unpackaging.
Yeah.
I think a big part of it is like certain people, when it's unpackaged, like really sits annoying with them.
Yeah.
Like once, you know, everything gets unpackaged, and then they're just like, all right, we need some order here. Like,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, like I mean, I agree with like Dave, where he's just like, you know, Dave's a libertarian. He's just like, I don't like war. The war is bad, and I don't want the American government, my tax dollars going to it. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, in terms of the war is bad thing, you're like, I mean, they happen, and there is one, and all you saying you don't like it doesn't matter. It's just like, it's kind of ignoring the reality a bit.
Well, that's always the accusations of libertarians, period.
Yeah, exactly. They live in fucking fantasy land, but they just don't want.
That's I guess that like what people would say. But
yeah, generally. But you're like, yeah, I agree. I'm like, yeah, war is bad, and in a perfect world there would be no wars. But you're like, there is a war. Like all the people who are just like, yeah, just like Israel just like shouldn't exist. You're like, well, it is, and it's not going anywhere. So you need to figure out some new way of mediating.
Well, you're
this.
kind of having a different debate, because to me, that is fair. You're like having the debate.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of this. I'm talking about the conversation of like whether the debate should happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
It's
mean,
almost two
I'm-
different conversations. Like the one is like whether they should, you know, who should be talking about this and what's the debate, and the other one is like in the actual thing. I agree with you. You listen when the two people are actually debating. You're like, I'm often like, okay, I have so many friends on both sides of this, and I'm like, okay, I kind of see that point. Like, and also, I'll go with you, like, that I don't love, like, maybe it's just boring to me a little bit, but, like, I don't love the, like, constantly, always have to go back in time and being like, this was actually people that would, because every like video right now or like title or thing has to be like why they're complete, like why this is completely different from what you've heard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like the constant like relitigating of every last thing is a little like, you're just like, what we knew about Mao was wrong. Like why what we knew about this was wrong. It's like, there is a little bit of like, all right, like, yes, probably like we're wrong about some things.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, yeah,
but then I guess this one's more like, you know,
I mean,
this
I'm
is
sure
happening
there were
now.
some books that didn't make it out. Some favorable books that didn't make it out of the little scrum. But yeah, I mean,
Scrum, yeah. I could do get a little. I do get. Yeah, there's parts of it where it's like not my taste or whatever, but the part that is my taste is like I'm just not like I really do think it boils down to like a risk thing where it was like, yeah, I think the alternative of the risk is worse.
Yeah.
Where you go, yeah.
and it is kind of like
It's a good, that's why it's a good country, is because everyone questions everyone.
Yeah.
No one trusts anyone.
The whole idea too of like
Only the paranoid survive.
right.
That's a country.
Yeah, that's true. But the idea of the two that like people like it almost is a leftist idea a bit where they're like, oh, you can't have these conversations because people are too dumb to decide for themselves.
Which is some degree true.
It is some degree true.
But so what? That's politics too. Then you don't have democracy.
Exactly. I know. You're just like, that's like, that used to be the big like liberal thing was like, man, everybody's like, these people are just too stupid to make their own decisions. We need to do it for them. And you're like, well, it's not what it's not what a society is. I don't know what to tell you.
And society is
Like
always
we're literally ruled by the dumbest 50%. Like that's just how it works.
And also on top of that, it's always going to be a situation where you have like smart people and then charismatic people yelling their ideas.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have, how many times, you know, politicians are all like, if they're allowed to talk about it, like,
I mean, if Tim Walz is allowed to have opinions, then anybody's allowed to have opinions. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not necessarily about the smartest, best ideas. It's about selling the ideas.
Yeah, so I kind of like, when I talk to a lot of people that are kind of on that side, it's not that I don't understand their, like what they're annoyed by. It's like anyone can go on Twitter and be like, yeah, this stinks. Like, it's
Sure.
fucking, yes, I get it. Fucking Jews are the problem. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got it. Like,
Got
you
it.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? But at the same time, I'm just like, it's not, to me, it does feel, it's just not like the biggest worry in the fucking universe.
No, I'm much more concerned about this China situation.
What are you concerned about?
This whole trade war thing, man.
You're concerned about the trade war more, yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. I was listening to this podcast today actually, and this guy, pretty smart guy, I can't remember his name, but essentially they're like he was like, I can't remember, he worked at some like investment bank or whatever, but he's like a economics professor or something. But he's essentially like, because of like the lead time, because it takes like 35 days for a ship to get from China to the United States, like with all the goods or whatever. But like, he essentially was telling some story about he was trying to buy a light. He's like this Asian dude, but he lives in Israel because he's like a professor there. And he was like, I was trying to buy like a light, like a studio light, like that one probably that we have there. And he's just like, I couldn't get it anywhere. Like it's just like not available. 90+% of the lights are made in China. And then he's like, he used to live in New York, so he called B&H, and B&H is like, yeah, we have lots of them. And he's like, are you guys, and what are you doing with the tariffs? They're like, we're not raising, we have tons of stock, so we're not raising our prices until we run out, and then like, using the new prices or whatever. But like, because of like the lead time for that, like they're presumably, should this continue on, like there will be like shortages of tons of
random shit.
Tons of shit is going to be like shortages of like empty shelves, like all sorts of stuff like that in like 2 months, probably like June.
Yeah, that to me, that's a bigger problem than
than fucking some war in some fucking dirt pile I don't give a shit about. Yeah. So
shit.
Yeah. But anyways, that'll be interesting.
Also, it was interesting that they got rid of the red dye, which, by the way, it is just always crazy. And we probably even talked about this, but it's always
still 2 years of it though. We still have 2 more years.
That is weird, but it always just it always is like reminds me how crazy it is that you just have a situation where you go, all of the drinks that like you're just like, oh, it's an orange juice, and you go, that's fucking fake orange.
Yeah.
It's just like, it is crazy that they tricked you on all the products.
Everything. I mean, yeah, the classic thing is look at a Fanta, a European Fanta and an American Fanta. The American Fanta is like that crazy orange color, and a European Fanta just looks like orange juice.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you're like, for what? Just to like trick us to buy more units?
Boys, fellas, men, dogs, if ED is getting you down, you need Hims to get that confidence up. And other things, back up. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard, last longer, so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes, whenever that time's happening. Feeling a little stalled out in the bedroom? Hey, Hims, you can get the gas back in the tank, personalized ED treatment options that are accessible without ever stepping foot in your doctor's office. Everyone knows I've been talking about this. I talk about this on stage, in specials. I've been talking about it on the pod. I'm an advocate. I've
Early
been
adopter.
I probably maybe one of the earliest adopters.
Yeah.
It just, why wouldn't you be juiced up? It's
Soup
like,
it up, baby.
honest, it's crazy to me that people wouldn't at least give it a shot, you know?
Absolutely.
For men dealing with ED, actually, this can be uncomfortable to go into a doctor. That's what I've also talked.
Yep.
You go to the doctor,
Nightmare.
what's the problem? You're just like, ugh. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. I don't want to talk.
It's like, you're sitting in this guy's office. It's an awkward scenario, which is why Hims provides access to a comfortable solution with an all online process, personalized treatment options. It's changing men's healthcare by providing you access with affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor visits. Just fill out an intake form on their site. Medical provider will determine the right treatment option. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you for free. No insurance is needed. One low price covers everything from treatment options to ongoing care. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/boyscast. That is HIMS.com/boyscast for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/boyscast. The featured products include compounded products which are not approved nor verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription is required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Boys, let's talk MAREK Health, because let's be real. Most doctors don't care about your optimization. They check your basic labs, they tell you everything looks normal, they send you on your way. Meanwhile, you're feeling tired, your performance is slipping, you know something's off. That's where MAREK Health comes in. Where they're treating symptoms, MAREK Health is optimizing you to be a beast. Me and Danny have both done the panel.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually, I think right when I come back from Calgary, I'm doing my...
I got my next one. coming up,
your
too.
second one too. Yeah. And then you can see the difference. Also, you feel the difference, and also a few because we have a lot of friends in the industry, and I'll say a lot of the things that I'm doing right now, and I've had multiple people be like, "Oh yeah, a lot of people don't know about that."
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
These guys are like ahead of the curve on that stuff.
Yeah, like microdosing tadalafil, they were like the OGs on that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that they're just like ahead of the curve. They actually are trying to optimize. They're not just trying to like treat symptoms. That isn't your typical doctor's office. They're next level health optimization platform. They actually listen to you. The people there are smart. They're nice. They run advanced lab testing. They also, if you have any questions after, they're available. Yeah. So they help you optimize.
They're all jacked.
They're all
they're all jacked.
But it is a company full of beasts.
Yeah.
Optimize your hormones, metabolism, overall performance. Whether you're looking to boost energy, gain muscle, just feel like your best health, MAREK gives you the tools to make it happen. You've got two options. You can go with their guided optimization program, or you can get a dedicated health coach and medical provider to help you out with supplements and prescription treatments. If you're more of a do-it-yourself guy, you can order self-service lab tests, take control of your own health as well. So the best part, you can get 10% off your order right now when you go to marekhealth.com. Use the code BOYSCAST at checkout. So that is MAREK Health. And the code is BOYSCAST. MAREKHealth.com. Code BOYSCAST for 10% off. Yo, by the way, you know what you were right about?
What's that?
Allegedly, I don't know if I'm fucking expert enough to confirm this yet.
I'm no expert, so these are just two
You are
knowledge.
actually an expert in this because it's a sperm related.
Oh, here we go.
You actually are an expert.
Cranking, baby.
But no, because this is the media, but a bunch of different places. And this is according to Ashley Sinclair and everyone about Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah.
They've confirmed that it is the test tube babies.
Yeah. But she says it's not for her.
She said she smashed.
She says she smashed. Not confirmed.
No romance, just sperm. 10 crazy things we learned about Elon Musk's baby mamas and his legion of prophets.
Yeah. He's dude. He really just wants to repot. Like he's straight up just like as many clones of.
So
him
he
as
was
possible.
smashing Ashley Sinclair.
That's what she says.
Okay.
And what a bag fumble! Oh my god, this is like you could never like the male mind cannot comprehend how crazy a woman can get. He offered her $15 million at $100,000 a month.
It's literally winning cash for life on a scratch off.
Way more than cash for life. Cash for life is like you get $2,000 a month.
Shannon Sharp's one's offered a cash for life as well.
Yeah, I know, and she wants double cash.
She thinks she's going to get more cash, but you're saying that was probably both the scenarios. They're like, I could probably get more cash for life than this.
I don't think.
You think Ashley Sinclair was like,
she's like,
we're supposed to be together?
Yeah. She's like, I love you, Elon.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Is that the vibe you got from her when you talked to her?
Well, no. I mean, we never talked about that, but I mean,
I'm just saying the vibe as a human.
No, but like, just the fact that her initial post that blew this whole thing up was the day before Valentine's Day. Literally the day before Valentine's Day this year.
You think it was a jilted ex move?
Absolutely. She goes, you said we would be together. And he's like, bitch, I said that to everybody.
So what's she going to get now?
A lot less than that. I don't know. Like apparently he cut, like it's been cut down substantially. I mean, she's getting something. Like she's not getting nothing, but like she did that.
She was looking at 15 mil.
Did we talk about that stunt she did where she sold her Tesla? Did you see that?
I think I saw that.
Yeah, basically, like she called the New York Post, and then she was like selling her Tesla on Facebook Marketplace or something, and she's like, "Yeah, I gotta sell my."
Bad time to sell them.
I know. She's like, "I gotta sell my Tesla because fucking money's drying up or whatever," which is probably not true. But
he has to pay. I mean, he's gonna have to pay.
Yeah, but like,
Elon Musk can't be like default on fucking child support payments.
But he doesn't have to give her fucking $100,000 a month and 15 million lump sum. That's for sure.
How much does he have to give her?
I'm sure maybe just $10,000 a month, not the 15 million.
You can be the richest man in the world and then only get adjudicated for 10. What about all those people we know that like, I guess isn't there tons of like football players and basketball players that get these like crazy child support hits?
Well, there's a difference because I think if you're married and then you're like, I have a lifestyle.
No, these
I
aren't.
used to.
Come on, I said basketball players.
Right. Sorry. I mean, I think it depends on the state. Like apparently in Texas, the minimum in Texas is like really low.
Oh, depends on where you are.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So you can just get hit with the minimums even though you're rich as fuck.
Like, yeah, in Texas, it could be like $2,000 a month.
That's where you gotta be, man.
That's weird. Hey, there's a reason Elon Musk lives in Austin, baby.
That's the only place to have the Legion.
Yeah.
I said he calls them his Legion. This is a hit piece, by the way,
of
but
course.
he has a fertility fixer. His name is Jared. So Jared's sort of the guy that he takes the sperm and he puts it in the vag.
Does he get it out for him?
I think he's in the room. He sits in the chair
He
normally.
just holds the cup.
Do you think that
Just
Elon
let me know when you're done, Elon.
No, Elon Musk sits in the cuck chair while Jared puts the sperm in?
Jared, bring me my milking machine.
Jared!
Jared, I have 15 minutes in between meetings.
Yeah, Jared comes. He's like, where's the sperm? He's like, get it out.
Get sucking, Jared.
Hey, Jared. So I guess that's part of your department, isn't it?
I don't know. What do I pay you for, Jared?
Sperm's going to fucking jump out itself. Thought that because I'm looking at our contract here. It says that you will get the sperm out.
You were the fixer.
So she had the $15 million clause. Their facts drop off after that.
Yeah, that was about it.
Grimes and her like in the courtroom from hell. That one dropped
Tiffany
off.
Fong or whatever. Apparently, he like DM'd her and it was like, if you just want some sperm, you can have some.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. Just DMing influencers being like, yo, you interested in some fucking Elon sperm?
I'm gonna try that. See how that works. So just start DMing random chicks. Hey, I got some sperm if you want it.
Some spare sperm cooking around.
Yeah, what's your address?
Cryptocurrency. Okay, they really did a top 10 article and they had about 3.
Yeah, that's all of them.
From mega hats to paternity wars, Musk's romance arc began on a private jet. PJ, he's smashing in the PJ.
Yeah.
Okay, so they ran out after 2, but the main point was that apparently he does have that.
Yeah, he does a tattoo. But he's a busy man.
It's a busyness thing.
It's a business thing, man.
Jared, that's a dirty job, man. Mike Rowe is dirty job. Elon sperm collector.
Yeah, sperm collector. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, but he wants 50 kids probably.
Last week we did the podcast when the astronaut stuff just happened.
Yeah,
and it is to me it is crazy. The female astronauts.
They're not astronauts. Space travelers.
It was the first female astronaut to have her husband pay for her to go to space. That is
did you see how much it cost? I couldn't believe
it's like $600 million a ticket.
$600 million? No, for the whole thing.
For the whole thing.
I'm like, it costs him every time he wants to go on an 11-minute trip. Dude, it's start to finish 11 minutes. I thought it was 11 minutes in space. It's only 4 minutes. It's the whole thing is 11 minutes. $600 million.
That's crazy.
And you're like, how is this going to be like profitable as a business?
That has been the most ill-received trip in history. Yeah. I've never seen a rich publicity stunt not hit like that.
And that's the thing too, is you almost, because that's like the ideal scenario if you want to like sell it to normies, is you're like, Katy Perry went, you're like, your dumbass wife can go.
Yeah, and everyone hated her for it.
I know, but you're like, at least you're like, if your wife's like, I don't know, I don't think I could go to space, that seems scary. You're like, Katy Perry went.
Yeah.
Gayle King went, like, you can go.
Anyone can do this.
But then again, you're just like, how much does it cost for a person to go if it's...
Well, this is the thing. For one, and the economy's bad, people don't want to hear about rich things like this. But more importantly to me, it was the girl power moves weren't working. Like, this shit would have worked before. And I think that we're at the point with celebrities where it's, when you're dating someone and the things they do are cute, and then if you're really annoyed with them and you've been together for a long time, everything they do is annoying.
Of course.
That's where the world is at with these celebrities, I think. Like, think about, like, this is like a joke, but saying that, like, when Katy Perry was just saying, like, the divine, I'm just getting in touch with my divine. Like, first date, a girl, you'd be like, oh, if you're trying to smash territory.
You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, fuck, you're so whimsical.
Yeah, you ever done ayahuasca?
8 years in, you come home from work, she's like, I just got in touch with my divine. You'd be like, well, you're supposed to be in touch with the cable company. You had one fucking job. You had one job to do today.
Is the washing machine still broken? Because
how about you fucking get in touch with washing those clothes like you're supposed to today? I said the singing stuff where Katy Perry was singing. First hanging out with a girl, you're trying to get pussy. She's out there. Wonderful world. Like, 10 years in, you're fucking lost in the car.
You're doing a cappella together.
Oh, imagine this. You're trying to drive somewhere. You fucking took a wrong turn shortcut. You got the map out. And then she's in the fucking passenger. She's got. What are you, 4 years old?
Yeah,
shut up.
Shut up. I'm lost. I can't think right now.
That's where
singing.
That's where we're at with celebrities.
Yeah.
Even the Me Too stuff is a little bit like back in the day. Again, first start dating a girl, she's like, this guy was he's a creep. He looks at my tits. You'd be like, do I have to fight him?
Yeah, do I kill him?
10 years, annoyed. The guy's been looking at my tits. Put a fucking bra on then. You fucking.
What do you expect from him, huh?
Your nipples are out. What do you want me to tell you?
Want?
I think that's the stage we're at.
Yeah, and I mean, those chicks like...
you spent $40 on Uber Eats today to buy one single coffee? I see skies. Stop singing.
Yeah, I do like the
Stop singing.
The backlash is funny, but they're just like, they just got offered this thing, and they're like, I guess, we'll go do this thing, and then it was just a media story, and then everybody's like, we hate
I'm going to disagree with you and push back on that because they didn't just do this thing. They tried to do they came back, and they said, I have a couple articles, but they came back and they said, this is a win for women.
Oh.
They tried to use the identity stuff,
right.
And people are done with it a little bit, but I think there's people are especially done with rich people stuff, and also people are just kind of angry forever, and I think that's what puts people in when someone gets famous, more people are looking for like, let's take him down,
right?
Like, that's the vibe of the world is like,
right now,
fuck this guy,
fuck this.
No one's watching like a rich person do something and being like sick. They're watching it and being like, fuck you.
Sure. Fucking space going asshole.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're not even an astronaut.
Yeah, so they came back and they kind of said this, and people aren't buying it. That worked for a little bit too, where people go, I've done this for, like, I went to space and I did that for women, and people are like, Yeah, that wasn't for us. That was
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
that was for you, yeah.
No, that's for us.
I mean,
I started. This is a joke. I said it's Homer buying Marge the bowling ball.
Right.
I went to space for women.
Yeah,
How's this for me?
Yeah, how's this for me? I mean, there was some element where probably you're like, see, it didn't explode. Like probably like Jeff Bezos like sneakily is like, yeah, I just want to show that like we sent all these expensive people to space. They didn't die.
Right, he's happy. He's like, this could have been a lot worse. I could have been Katy Perry's gut splatter.
Yeah, exactly. This could have been like the Challenger or whatever, where you just watch all these women just explode.
I mean, the hilariousest option would be like they don't die, but they had like a good 6 months where they're stuck.
No, the best would be if they all came back just aged. Like they all aged really badly. Like all their Botox just like rearranged in their face. They all look like substance, like all just fucked up. And they're like...
It did a number on them.
That would be like literally, that would be like fucking the worst case scenario for Bezos to be like, just age them all. It does too. If you ever see the astronauts, you ever see them like with the two that got stuck in the space station, they age like rapidly in space. I don't know what the explanation is, but
wow.
Yeah, you age really fast.
I mean, that'd be so funny if Katy Perry just came out because he's 90 now. Jeff Bezos, his wife's got the Botox everywhere.
Just, like, all reorganized on her face.
That's the thing. Bezos is doing the standard Hollywood moves where he's like a famous guy that he's clouting her up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's trying to
you know what the problem is Bezos is screwing up on, though?
I mean, I've never heard her speak, so that's a problem.
Well,
for her, like if she's trying to like...
She's in the being clouted up process. She doesn't have to speak. Like Kanye West is clouting up his one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was already pretty popular, but it's like she's not speaking now.
That's true.
Shit goes south. You're going to hear a lot of her.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to hear a fuckload of her, man.
Yeah, I guess he's paying her not to
Dude,
speak.
Bezos is... This is what happens when you have guys that weren't like pussy guys that become pussy guys at 60.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't realize that he's literally building her platform against that she for her to use against him for money.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's over fucking one too. Like right now, he's building her up so she has a big media apparatus for when she wants to take him down.
Yeah, that was the lesson wife though. He goes, that was during, I didn't.
And now he's learning a new lesson because I think he's going back to back with lessons, man. He's trying to cram him in. He likes to learn.
Yeah. Biggest bookseller in the world, I guess.
He's a bookworm. Can't stop learning. Bezos is a bookworm.
Yeah.
I think the real lesson is because they said they can accomplish anything. The real lesson is, you can accomplish anything if you're a hot chick willing to date a old bald guy.
One of the richest men in the world who's just willing to float you and your few pals a $600 million trip to space.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awful nice.
Gayle King has one wish amid blue flight backlash. I don't like that people are calling it a ride. You never see a male astronaut going to space.
You're not astronauts.
And they said, they took a ride. Yeah, you also wouldn't see a
Richard Branson's not an astronaut either. He does that shit too. Like Richard Branson goes on his Virgin Galactic and it's like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, so she doesn't like the ride, but she's saying the reason they're doing that is because it's women. But you wouldn't see a male astronaut come back to space and being like, I did this for men.
Yeah, I did this for men.
You know what it is? I said it's the equivalent of like...
I mean, they only do that when they go on the moon, if they ever did do that.
Mankind, but that means women are included, so they're including everyone. You're allowed to do it for everyone.
Right.
But it's like them saying like, this is like a slight on women because they don't like us. And I don't think women are buying it. I think the chicks are just like, no, people don't like you.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not.
Like they don't like that you're rich. They're trying to do... First of all, the whole reason for all of this stuff was like... actresses being like, no, I'm not a rich person. I'm a woman. That's the hardest thing. Like, you're like, I'm subverting economic issues with, identity issues, right? And I think that the economic issues are people are, whether it's true or short term or whatever, they feel that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's why they're like, no. That's a rich person and I'm a poor person.
Sure.
You're not a woman.
The price tag was obscene. Like you couldn't lie about it. You had to say it was $600 million. You couldn't be like, this is like, because like I believe the point of this Blue Origin thing is like it's going to be $250,000 a person to go. So just like say it was $250,000 a person.
It's just lie about the price.
Well, just be like, yeah, it was, this whole thing costs $1.5 million. People be like, that's not that crazy.
That's crazy. You're good point. They could have just
Why say it was $600
eat
million?
the cost. Lie and eat the cost.
But you're saying it's going to cost $250,000 to go.
Maybe they can't do that for legal reasons. That'd be
Or
fraud.
it's like some crazy fucking tax thing where you go, yeah, we just like took a fucking $650 million.
What a bath!
$650 million write-off because they go, sending a regular person to space, $250,000. Katy Perry, though, you know what the insurance is like on that? I don't know, but
yeah,
something's fishy about that.
It's the guy that like all the guys are not getting pussy, and all these dudes are just like, we can't get any pussy, and then the one guy that's coming in like, smell my fingers, boys, and everyone's like, I fuck. This is for us.
This is for us.
Men just got some pussy.
Yes. All right. It'll have to do.
Men just got some more pussy, boys, and you're just like, no. And the guy's rich too. You go, no, a rich guy. You took her to fucking Spain for the weekend.
Yeah.
You just took her on a trip to Ibiza.
Souped up yacht at this point. You go, yeah, you're just on the fucking intergalactic yacht at this point.
Exactly. Men, but yeah, so
there's no little girl who's like, Mommy, can I go to space too? And you're like, yeah, if you date a billionaire. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not smart enough to be a fucking real astronaut, so that's not happening.
That's exactly what it is. Mommy, can I be an astronaut? Yeah, all you just have to suck off a billion. All you have to do is find a rich old billionaire on his second divorce
with a space program.
Suck him off and get a lot of Botox, fake titties. You're gonna want you don't have them now, but you're gonna have titties, and you're gonna want to fucking soup those up.
Soup them up
because your old Miami billionaire husband's gonna want that.
Yeah, yes, he will. And then maybe you too can go to space for 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's how you be an astronaut.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That's a new dream.
So I think that's where she goes, they wouldn't say it's a ride if it's a man. Your point was they do. Like Richard Branson doesn't come back and say I'm an astronaut.
Yeah.
And then the other part was men wouldn't come back and being like, men did this for men.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, obviously men.
They'd be like, I'm cool.
I mean, men built the ship for men. Like the actual means of getting to space was built by men for men.
And here now it was too.
Yeah. But I'm saying, we all know. They're like, yeah, the real accomplishment was not going there. It was building the rocket.
I know. In their opinion,
funding and building the rocket was the actual accomplishment.
I don't go on a roller coaster and be like, I run a theme park.
Yeah. Also, and again, I don't take any credit for that as a man, being like, look what we fucking did, huh? Look at us. Look at us fucking building Amazon and then building a rocket. Good for us.
I mean, look at us boys building Amazon.
Boys fucking building rockets and shit.
Yeah, shit. So that to me is why this wasn't sticking.
No.
But she's trying to go the other way for that. And then the other one is celebrities savagely call out female Blue Origin launch, saying there's more important things in the world right now. Emily Ratajkowski's not happy because she said this is bad for the environment.
Is it bad for the environment?
Everyone's going to find, well, I don't know. They used a lot of gas maybe. I mean, literally every single thing in the world is bad for the environment.
Exactly.
Did you see that other fucking article that I sent you? It said, I said this is where they've crossed the line. They said that it's bad for dogs are bad for the environment.
Yeah.
I go, are you trying to lose the only people that might
hate everybody hate you?
Like, I think you'll turn a woman into a fracker.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, by the way, having a pet is actually bad. You're actually bad for the environment. You go, all right, well, that's the end of me being you lost me.
Yeah, you lost me, totally.
We had a good run being a fucking fake environmentalist.
Yeah, dogs are bad for the environment. All right.
Everything technically
is bad for the environment.
If you think that, carbon is any carbon from anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you can be like, fires are bad for the environment. Like having a fire. And you go, okay, well, I don't want to eat raw meat.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to have fire.
So that was that. And then Blue Origin backlash, pinpoints, cringe misconceptions, Huffington Post. So zero people were happy with it. But I think the main crux of all of it was probably a mix. Actually, not a main crux, because a mix. It's a mix of people people hating billionaires.
Yeah.
And also people not being tricked on identity
the Trump
stuff.
linkage. That's what people don't like too. That was like a big part of this.
Didn't even think of
that. Is that Bezos, when Trump got inaugurated, Bezos showed up and gave him a check for $1 million or something. So then they're like, oh, this is a fucking Trump guy now. Trump guy sending his fucking bimbo Trump wife to space. Don't like that.
Bimbo fucking Trump wife.
Don't like that. Don't like that.
He did send his bimbo Trump wife to space.
Hey man, sometimes you got to get some fucking peace and quiet for.
You know what
11
though?
minutes.
Bezos is probably like a very good like founder, entrepreneur. Probably, yeah, obviously, yeah, probably.
I think the jury's out.
But I don't think he's great at publicity stunts the way that
No.
Because one of the things too is even when they're like Elon Musk, for example, is doing all this shit, it was like, yeah, and he's the most hated guy fucking alive right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think Bezos still, he's probably read biographies of guys back in the day that were like beloved. And you're like, that is not now.
No, and also this would have been way easier. If you want to be beloved, send fucking 7 dogs to space. Just put 7 fucking cute dogs in those things. Send them up.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Like do something like that.
Nobody's gonna, except for I guess whoever.
Like
wrote that
do it
one
in
article.
like Facebook parent memes territory.
Yeah, where you just like,
Don't try to touch on
Doggo goes to Space-O or something, and
yeah, and then that's already better.
way better. And then if it explodes, you're like, it's very sad.
If you're trying to not be hated, you have to stay out of the making points territory.
yeah, you just send 7 dogs to space, maybe a cat in there.
And you're not, and you have to be sort of like humble about it, where you have to kind of be like a little bit if you want. Like you can't speak so much. So he sent 6 clucking hens up there.
Yeah.
So they're bound to say so much
For
stuff.
sure. Well, they want their shine when they come down.
They want their shine, but the shine's gonna, draw a lot of negative attention.
Whereas a dog just wants a treat. So he just comes down. He goes, I don't know why you sent me there, but that was weird. I would like a chicken snack.
Sure, they found a way to not like the dog thing, but he would have been better off.
Yeah. Better publicity. Dude, think of promotional materials you get out of that.
That's what I'm saying. That would have been memed.
Yeah, that would have been mean. But again, they need celebrities to go because then people will be like, I guess I could go. Like, it'll just, you get that.
Who wants to go now? Because they feel like now, I feel like if I'm sure some would.
There
but
are people who
I feel like right now, to some degree, someo's like, I don't want to be on the next one and be the laughing stock.
No. You don't want to be on the next one. But I mean, the point of this is to eventually just be like, this is just, a rich person adventure thing to do is you just go and it's like skydiving, but for rich people.
Billionaires' wives.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the goal is this is eventually be like 50 grand. And, you literally get in line and it's just like a fucking roller coaster where like you're just in line and the thing goes up, comes back down, refuels, next group goes on, goes back up.
The only cool thing is when you're in there that you float around, but they can make you float around without going into space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They can do the thing where like
you can just do a no gravity chamber.
Well, no gravity chamber.
Don't they? Yeah, like at NASA, they have chambers there where you can go in them and they take the gravity out.
I don't know about that.
Is that not true?
I don't think so. They train in pools because that's like the closest thing.
Am I making that up?
I think you just made that up. A no gravity chamber.
So
I mean, if there's a no gravity chamber, I want dibs on that thing. No, they could do the thing where they go in that's what they did for the astronaut, the Apollo 11 movie or whatever. How they got what was it? Or 13? 13, not 11. Where they go in a plane and the plane drops rapidly and then you float for like 10 seconds.
Okay, so you do have to go up to space to get your no gravity effect.
Yeah. I don't think there's
that would be the only cool part.
Yeah.
Is if you're up there and you get to float
Absolutely,
around.
it would be wicked. That's the only reason you go. And then you can see that the Earth is flat.
And you get to see the Earth is flat.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's a very good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. You can finally pay the big bucks to finally find out.
Yeah. So I think Bezos doesn't. He's not as good as his stunts, and he hasn't done that many. This is like his first foray into stunts.
Yeah. I don't. He probably thought again. She probably talked him into this.
That's the question.
This was very much a yes, dear. And she goes, and Katy Perry will come. He goes, yes, dear.
Do you think he's bitched
about Gayle
around
King?
behind closed doors?
Oh yeah.
He seems like it, but you never know with guys like that.
I would guess the guy who gave away
might run with
half of Amazon to get out of his last marriage probably bitched around a little bit.
He might be run with an iron fist, though. It's hard to say with those guys, because don't forget, like, even on interview, like, Bezos is a fucking cold-hearted, cold stone killer.
Yeah, but he's married to like a fucking, like, like Miami Latina chick. Bimbo, like all the stuff. Like, he probably, in his mind, he goes, I do not get bitched around. And she just, like, kind of rolls her eyes. Like,
she's just like he does whatever I tell him.
Like, he's like, oh, yeah, he thinks, like...
He doesn't know how to handle a girl like
Yeah,
that.
hell no. Her last fucking boyfriend was like Tony Gonzalez, the football player. It's like,
Yeah, it's very possible with Bezos. That's in his mind, he's not
in his
getting
mind,
bitched around.
he's king of the castle.
And she's like, I've never not gotten something I wanted to.
100%.
And she's smart enough to know how to manipulate men where it's like, yeah, I don't ask it like that.
Yeah, of course.
I fucking make this retard think it's his idea.
Yeah, exactly. She goes, he goes, that's a great idea. Katy Perry, huh? Everybody loves Katy Perry, right? And you go, I think so. I don't know.
And she'll sing on the thing.
Yeah, she'll sing on the thing.
I wonder. That's a good question if it was her idea or not.
It was her idea. I'm going to go ahead and say it was her idea. She goes, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, and she was on the yacht, and he was like, pretty sick yacht. And she was like, I don't know. Not space.
It's not space.
Like, if he said, I'm going and you're not going, she'd be on the yacht. Being
He already went. She goes, it's such a shame that only one of us has been to space.
Yeah, and I'm on this, I guess, the yacht. I'm on a boat. But
yeah, I guess I'm on this fucking, I don't know, this shitty $750 million boat.
Yeah, or you got to be on a rocket ship, but I guess whatever. You're the rich one, and I'm just your girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm just your fucking poor surf girlfriend.
I guess your money's your money, and I guess I'll just fucking...
I just get my allowance.
And I'll just eat my gruel.
I mean, if only somebody I'm going to marry owned a rocket.
But I guess I can't use it for some reason, and my friends are all asking me why I'm not able to use it, and I don't even know what to say to them.
Yeah, Katie keeps asking me, when do we get to go to space? And I say, I don't know.
I don't know. I have to tell her, I guess Jeff Bezos stopped loving me.
I don't know where he keeps the keys, so I don't know. Yeah, so... whole thing's stupid.
I had a fucking banger. I sent this to you, but back to back, 2 articles about toxic men, and one is Gen Z women are choosing older men over guys their own age, and not because they're sugar daddies. That's what they want.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
not for any sort of financial.
But the reason is they're choosing older men because they said younger men are toxic and they like Andrew Tate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And here's another article that was from HuffPost. This is from The Sun. Or no, this is from the other one's from HuffPost. That was from New York Post. And the HuffPost says Tracy Elliott Ross shares the one reason she dates younger men, and she says she dates younger men because older men are too toxic. So we have an article saying that I date younger men because older men are too toxic, and we have an article saying that I date older men because younger men are too toxic.
I guess how you
isn't that banger coming out in the same week?
Yeah. Yeah.
According to reporting dating trends and TikTok, mainly TikTok,
the new news source, TikTok.
I've got to be honest, it's mainly TikTok.
Yeah, some OnlyFans hoe explaining why she dates older men.
Gen Z's warming up to the idea that age is just a number. They're warming up to the idea.
Oh, okay.
As they reach 25, they're warming up to the idea that you could date older men.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
This guy's so toxic, he doesn't fucking take me to space.
Yeah. I mean, when I go out for dinner with 25-year-olds, we go to the Olive Garden. And
yeah,
I go,
toxic.
Yeah, toxic. Super toxic behavior. And they want to split the bill when I go with a 35.
Real toxic.
I go to a 35-year-old. We go to a nice French restaurant and he pays.
It's fucking toxic. Yeah, these toxic younger men try to make me drink in an alley.
Just wants to hang out in a park all the time.
Like fucking toxic.
Yeah.
Shit. According to the 19-year-old who's dating someone in his late 20s, it's odd to date someone my age because a lot of times they start arguing about that Andrew Tate makes good points.
I mean, I would love.
I mean, the point. By the way, the points he makes is that women like older, richer men.
Yeah. Literally, his point is like, date a 19-year-old who's never had sex before, so she's not fucking used up. I mean, again, the 29-year-old. The difference is he's dating a 19-year-old, and he just goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna probably just not talk about the fact that I like Andrew Tate."
Yeah.
I'll just keep that to myself. I don't know what the point of bringing that up. Whereas like a younger guy is like thinks it's fucking like badass being like, yeah, Andrew Tate, and you're like, no, just keep that to yourself.
Well, the older guy's like, yeah, she's like, do you want to talk? And he's like, out. But you're wrong though, because Tracy Elliott shares the one reason she dates younger men.
Oh, okay.
It's not just because they're younger and better looking. A lot of men my age steeped in toxic masculinity because they were raised in a culture that there is a particular way a relationship looks. And younger men have a more open. So she's done the complete opposite. She says it's the older men.
The older men are the problem.
Have these traditional values.
I think it's just men are the problem.
Starting to feel that way.
Yeah. Also, what's the first? Is the first article HuffPo with the dating the 19-year-old?
The first one's they're articles, but they're all articles based on someone saying this somewhere else.
Well, I was just going to say
it was post in
HuffPo has definitely had 50 articles being like it's not okay for a 29-year-old to date a 19-year-old.
Another one,
like probably so many articles.
It's a hypocrite factory.
Oh, it's insane. Where you're just like talking out both sides of the mouth because you're like, you guys for sure, dude. Most of you do not think it's cool for a 19-year-old to date a 29-year-old.
You ever see those graphs where it's like, are you this? Can you do this? And it's just like the box is leading down, and it's just like Are you toxic? Do you do this? And then just all the boxes lead back to yes.
Yes.
There is no option for no.
Yeah, but I'm certain we've covered that's too big of an age gap. Like a 19-year-old should never be dating a 29-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
they were hard on that for a while.
yeah, that was like their whole thing. Is they're like they didn't like the competition.
This was the big article that was probably the funniest one this week. I had a gay holiday fling with a Taliban terrorist. Vice would be jealous of this one, man.
Yeah, I know. Vice is
I don't know if they're still churning out articles, but I think if you were a Vice...
Yeah. Didn't we have one a couple weeks ago?
No, sometimes I look and it's like they recycle old ones.
Oh.
They keep getting sold and then they have that run where they crank them out for 6 months and they disappear again. I don't know. Shane Smith has a podcast now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's pretty big, actually. I had a gay holiday fling with a Taliban terrorist, and then I tried to leave the country, and the machine guns were pointed towards my head. And he says, Taliban penis should not be underrated.
Taliban's got that fucking... good shit right there.
Yeah, Vice is creaming their pants over this one. The terrorist acted as a security guard at Toys so the terrorist is also a security guard.
Yeah. Well, basically, it's like some dude who's
Everyone's in the Taliban there.
Yeah, everyone's in the Taliban. This guy's like some extreme traveler where he goes to like all these crazy places or whatever, and then he went to Afghanistan.
Extreme.
I mean, it is pretty extreme to go vacation.
I mean, it is pretty extreme to go to Afghanistan and
if you're
have sex with a dude.
Well, to be openly gay and travel to Afghanistan,
I know.
You are rolling the dice there for sure.
And then he basically says he started making eyes at this security guard, and then the security guard went back to his room and they started watching Gossip Girl.
The guy didn't speak any English.
Yeah, the guy didn't speak English.
So I don't know.
I guess who knows if it even happened, but this guy... it's funny because he's saying terrorist, but what he really means is a guy who worked at the hotel who's part of the Taliban party.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like a fucking paper pusher.
He's a paper pusher. I mean, he's a fudge pusher. It is so funny. This is what the Taliban's up to, man. That guy used to be overthrowing governments. Now he's working at a hotel sucking off a tourist.
Well, it's the age-old question. Once you overthrow the government,
what do you do?
What do you do? You go, we won. I go, you're in the government now.
You're like, what? Well,
you do TPS reports.
Like when people went to the Capitol, what did they do? It's like, I don't know, dick around?
Yeah, dick around. I don't know. Yeah, you go, this whole government business is pretty serious, so that's a lot of work.
It's so much more fun overthrowing than
overthrowing, that's like that's the exciting part, and then you just do it and you go, all right, I guess we go to work now. I guess you're like, I got into this for fucking fun, and now I just have a 9 to 5.
Pre-game's always more fun than the night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just like, I guess I just have a 9 to 5 job now. I mean, they put me in HR.
They didn't even put him in HR. They put him guarding a hotel.
Yeah, guarding a hotel. You know, I guess
you're just like, guys.
Yeah.
I thought I'd get a better job than that.
Yeah. He goes,
well, then how about this? I'm going to suck off a dude. How you like that? That's what he's sticking it to the boss.
We all thought we'd have better jobs, but the economy's not great.
He claimed that the short-lived romance was passionate. He admits that it was never going to be more than a fling, so he didn't think that him and the Taliban...
Yeah, he didn't think he was going to move
gay
to
marry the
Taliban.
Gay marry the Taliban headquarters.
Yeah, it's probably frowned upon.
They haven't spoken since, he said.
They haven't spoken ever. He said he doesn't speak the same language as them.
Extreme. This is not very good extreme tourism, though. If your buddy was like, dude, I'm doing this extreme tourism, it's like, what do you do? It's like skydiving. He's like, I blew the security guard. Yeah. You go, like, extreme.
You better hope this fucking article doesn't make it back to the Taliban, because they're going to have to find out who the culprit was.
Well, yeah, you're right.
So many dudes are getting killed over this.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
They're like, who fucking...
Those security guards that work at that hotel are in for a bad week.
Yeah, there's just 2 of them. They go, all right, well, it was one of you 2 guys are gay. I don't know. We're just killing you both. I don't know.
Dude, if this guy lied and the security guard at the Taliban hotel is just like, no, I didn't. Fucking...
Yeah, there's only one. There's one security guard.
He's like an 80-year-old Taliban
Hey, look, Abdul, it's like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but this article came out that said
sucked off
the security guard at the hotel sucked off a tourist. Care to explain?
Abdul's in bad shape if that happens, man.
Fucked.
Yeah, you really screwed him over.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we have, since me and Abdul had a night, we haven't spoken again. It's like mainly because he's getting thrown off a roof right now. You fucking snitch.
Yeah,
you outed.
He's buried in a hole currently.
You outed a member of the Taliban.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you worked at that hotel. Did he say the name of the hotel? Tyosi's Hotel. He said he fucking outed the guy. Yeah. I didn't even think of that. Dude, this guy's screwed.
Well, maybe
He's going to be Taliban from government, that's for sure.
maybe he doesn't get back. Maybe they don't have a translation thing.
You better fucking... Abdul's sweating right
Oh,
now.
Abdul's like, bro, he's like, this is supposed to be fucking on the DL. I didn't want you to write an article about
This
it.
is the opposite of the DL,
Yeah,
or well, anyways, and then one more in the topic was, I caught my husband masturbating a male friend, and he says it's nothing. So
Yeah, it's
a lot of gay stories.
Just a couple of guys just having fun.
My husband's been, and this is what the wife was upstairs.
Well, sometimes you got to share techniques.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, it's like fucking. You ever been?
Who hasn't?
You ever been to a driving range with one of the buds? You're just like, hey man, if you just adjust your grip a little bit, you're like, you got a little bit of an open.
If you
grip.
switch hands the right way.
Yeah. You're like your grip's a little strong, so you just want to.
Hey, if you sit on your hand, it feels like someone else is swinging. Feels like someone else is golfing.
Yeah, dude, it feels like fucking Tiger is swinging it.
Feels like you're just there while Tiger's swinging it. Found out a week ago, my friend came over. He insists that a lot of men do this. He says, now that, when women say gaslighting?
Yeah.
That's an example of actual gaslighting.
Oh, that's just covering your ass right there.
Well, that's what real gaslighting is.
That's just classic CYA right there.
He says it happened a few times. She was upstairs, and his friend is not attached. I think his friend might be gay, but his husband says not him.
Not him.
I'm not gay, my boyfriend is. It's like
Yeah.
classic, I'm not gay, but my boyfriend is. Simply put, it was truly a harmless action. But the reason I even thought this article was funny was the response, because the responses at these places, which is this is Irish Times. The
Okay.
Irish Times is a little fruity
Yeah.
right now.
Okay.
But the Irish Times couldn't conclusively say that it was gay either.
Oh.
They're sort of on at first glance you'd be like, oh, they're like not selling this guy out.
Yeah.
They'll let him keep his lie. But in second, what's actually happening is the Irish Times knows it's gay, but they have to be like, there's all sorts of different things.
Yeah. But they were both just jacking each other off?
I do want to note that some straight men do enjoy homoerotic or shared sexual activities with other men, seeing as it connected to their sexual orientation. Sexuality is fluid and multifaceted, and your husband's actions don't necessarily define his sexual identity. So you get it feels like the husband paid this fucking blogger.
Yeah, that's the big win. If he didn't, he's just like,
That is true, though. If you were living in the closet like 1940s style, and you're just like, I don't want to fucking live as a gay man. First of all, probably wait till your wife leaves the house to be fucking jacking off your buddy.
yeah. You're like, what the hell?
But second of all, it is funny, though, to bring her to one of these people. The guy's like, you find a college guy therapist and just be
Yeah.
like, well, sexuality's fluid. And you're just sitting there like, told ya.
See?
What'd I tell you?
Nothing gay about me jacking off my buddy.
The opposite of.
Yep.
She goes, well, how do you know if someone's gay? Well, they tell you if they're straight or gay. So you go, whatever he says, that's what it is.
And you guys are in a heterosexual marriage?
Yeah.
Seems straight to me. Case closed.
It's fucking closed.
Yeah.
Seems pretty straight to me.
Would he marry you if he was gay?
Also do that for cheating. It's like if he says it didn't count, it didn't count.
Yeah, it didn't count. He goes, he's not in love with
He
her.
says he's monogamous.
Yeah,
but
he says he loves you only.
If he says he's monogamous, then you decide whether your sexual orientation is.
Yeah.
I identify as monogamous.
Hey.
Shit. In adulthood, our culture actually allows for a lot of sexual change in heterosexual male spaces between straight men, whether it's just talking or joking about sex, attending strip clubs, having threesomes with other men. It's entirely possible your husband is straight and being truthful, and he's just considered it a release.
Yeah, you either sometimes go to the strip club with the boys or
Same thing.
jack off your buddy. Those are about the same.
Sometimes you go to the strip club, sometimes you make jokes about sex.
Yeah, you joke around, have a laugh.
Same category.
Same category as jacking off.
Have you ever heard him make jokes about sex?
Yeah.
Did you consider him gay for doing that? So then...
Is that gay to you too?
So then...
Sounds like you just think everything is gay. Sounds like you're just wanting your husband to be gay.
It sounds a lot more like a you problem than a him
You
problem.
just want your husband to be gay.
Yeah, is that what
and
you
so
mean?
everything he does is just gay all of a sudden.
Yeah. So he made a couple jokes. Okay, jacked off one friend a couple times.
A couple times. Friend keeps coming over all the time, but whatever.
I would recommend getting a counselor who's queer sex positive.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the solution here.
He needs a gay counselor to tell him he's not gay. It's so funny. I recommend you get a gay counselor so he can explain to your fucking ignorant ass that he's not gay.
What kind of counselor is this? How bad is this counselor?
Not gay. He does the adjudication.
Yeah,
he
he
keeps
does
his arm up and he does the judge judo.
Not gay.
Not gay. So he recommends going to a queer counselor so he can clear this whole thing up for
there
you.
you go.
There's nothing gay about
Nothing
it.
gay, just everybody telling you not
Or just someone who isn't closed-minded or going to pathologize your husband's accent. You're getting caught fucking a dude and you're accusing your wife of pathologizing you.
I mean, it would be amazing though if you like if she's so kind of open or she's so like confused, like you literally confuse her so much where you're like, why don't we just go see a queer counselor and let him decide if this is gay?
Yeah.
Like she's like, I'm not sure if this is gay. Like you're not sure. Like what more do you need? Like you just need to be told like straight guys can just do gay stuff and
Duh.
not gay.
Queer counselor, probably that would be a good grift for the queer counselor though, where he was just like, and he's like, that was $500, and then the guy's like, that seems high, and he goes, or I could do it for less. Tell her you're gay.
Maybe we can have a different answer here.
Or I could do it. Yeah, I actually have a $200 version. Where
Yeah. We have that's the premium plan where I lie.
It's the premium plan where I explain how not gay what you did
where I
was.
tell her that her eyes have not deceived her and that what she believes to be true is in fact correct.
But if you can't afford it, let's just start the session.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, divorces aren't cheap either.
Yeah, let's just whatever, man. Let's just start her up. Anyways, I'll see us on the Patreon. See you in Atlanta this weekend.
And I'll be in Edmonton next weekend.
Edmonton
Edmonton
weekend.
AB.
Oh, I'm actually going to be. You're next weekend in Edmonton?
Yeah.
I'm going to be in Calgary next weekend.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and I'm actually going a day early.
Oh.
Because Nima is going to be there.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'm going to go hang out with Nima and
fuck
Alex
yeah.
Byron. What days are you doing in Edmonton?
Thursday to Sunday, and it sucks because the Oilers are in the playoffs right now, and assuming they make it to Game 7.
That'll fuck your shows up.
Big time. But they're down 2-0 right now. They're getting fucked.
So we're both going to Berta next weekend.
Berta boys! They're getting smoked, the Oilers, right now.
Oh, so the Berta boys fucking... We should do a Berta promo.
Yeah. Let's do a Berta promo.
Okay, I'll see you guys later or on the Patreon. Peace.
Peace.